Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. I know a lot of you have been trying to improve your meditation, manifestation skills, and to that end, I wanted to talk to you today about an app called Aura, which can help you with all of that. First of all, welcome to today's reading. I'm so happy to have you here. And Aura is such an incredible app, especially if you're trying to get into a meditation schedule or you're trying to improve your spiritual gifts. They have all different kinds of guided meditations as well as soundscapes you can listen to while meditating and all different kinds of wellness tools. They have lessons with prominent spiritual leaders and major celebrities as well as private coaching sessions you can sign up for one-on-one coaching if that's what you want. They have astrologers. They have literally every type of spiritual and wellness content that anyone could ever want. For me personally, I was already on a meditation schedule, but Aura made it so much easier to be regular and responsible about doing it every day. And their higher level guided meditations were super helpful for tapping into my subconscious, past lives, future self. Now keep in mind that the Aura app won the Best of Apple award and it has over 7 million users. So even though it's a brand new app, people are already responding to it. My favorite part of the app is the incredible sounds they have. I'm really noise sensitive, and if I'm going to sleep or meditating and something is making noise around me, I won't be able to sleep or meditate. So for me, I love their incredible library of noises. They have some really specific crazy ones like hot tub jets or train or campfire in the woods. So specific, such an extensive library of every kind of sound under the sun, so you can find the perfect one for you. So for the first 500 people that head to the link in my description, you will get to try Aura app absolutely free. You'll get a free trial as well as a 25% off exclusive offer. Don't miss this deal. I know you guys are going to absolutely love it. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting my sponsors on here. It really helps the channel. And now let's get into today's topic. So for today, we're going to be tuning into the energy of your future spouse and seeing how you're going to meet them, what they're going to say to you, how they're going to approach you, and all the details we can find out about them. Today, we have a beautiful selection of little fruits for you guys to choose from. So if you've been to this channel before, you know the drill. Just scroll down to the timestamps and jump into your pile whenever you've made your mind up. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. And basically, I do pick a card readings, but I often use fake food items instead of cards. So you're going to see which of these food items, which of these fruits is really sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention into it. And then as soon as you've made up your mind, you can scroll down to the timestamps in the comments in the description and jump into your pile. That will be the pile with the message for you. So pile number 1 is that yellow lemon. Pile number 2 is the red apple or pear. And then pile 3 is the little watermelon. And pile 4 is the orange. Also, if you like how I read tarot, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your shadow self and what you can do to alchemize it. So that's a really great one to watch, but as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings. There are readings about love, spirituality, relationships, career, money, friends, family, every topic under the sun, and new ones go up all the time. You guys also suggest and we vote on new ones. So if you want to join our little community over on Patreon, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I'd love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology for you, channel for you, and you get to really choose what we talk about, what we channel about, and what you want to ask me. So within reason, most topics are totally allowed. If you want that, like I said, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and sign up for a session with me. The link for that is in my description. So thank you guys so much for watching. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. Hey Pile One, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this lemon, this is going to be your reading. Let's get into your cards. You guys got the Ace of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Moon, the Magician, and the Three of Pentacles. So with so much fire leading off this reading, this person may be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They may be younger than you, and this person probably has a great deal of natural energy and enthusiasm. They might be the kind of person that wakes up early on a Saturday, wants to do a lot of chores, wants to like get the day going. They might be someone who really enjoys going out, socializing, doing things, and this person may also be quite optimistic. So it may be someone who really, has a very positive attitude about things. So if something seems like it's going wrong or something seems like it's kind of an unpleasant situation, this person may be very encouraging and maybe the kind of person who really tends to look on the bright side and tries to figure out something good to say about it. So you don't have to worry about them getting like too emotional and stewing and getting really upset about things. I feel like this person comes through with a lot of natural energy and just a very hopeful, optimistic vibe about things in life. We also have Pisces here, as well as Mercury, which rules over Gemini and Virgo. So those could be some other placements. And this person with all that kind of mutable energy might be quite curious about the world. They might also be very agreeable. So they might be someone that really loves to learn, loves to go places. We're also seeing that with this Three of Pentacles, that they might literally just love learning somehow, and they might even learn from you. Like, I'm feeling like there might even be a vibe where you teach them things, especially if you are slightly older than them. They might kind of come to you and want to learn like how you cook your steak and everything about you and your favorite type of jewel and your favorite type of flower. And I feel like this person is the kind of person who really pays attention to small details, and they kind of love, I feel, to spoil and to surprise their partner. So they would probably be that kind of partner who would make you an amazing spread on Mother's Day and who would go out of their way to try to make sure that like your birthday is special, and they contacted all your friends and that everyone knows that, there's a party at this time, and plan it really around all your details, all your favorites. So like it wouldn't just be like, oh, a surprise party out in the garage, but it might be at your favorite restaurant and have your favorite food and that kind of a thing. So I feel like this person is very, very considerate to you. They really love to kind of look after you and make you happy. And I think they're just very cooperative, very agreeable. I don't feel like this person is the kind of personality who likes to fight or argue or is super kind of melancholic. Like, I don't feel like this person is going to sit around being depressed or being, just wanting to start a fight when they're in a bad mood. I feel like they're pretty happy-go-lucky, optimistic, positive-minded, and they may also be very, very attracted to you with this Ace of Wands. They may be really great in bed, to be honest with you, with the Ace of Wands leading off that reading. We're not trying to get too into it because we're going to, of course, keep it PG for YouTube, but they may really be very good in the bedroom. I'll just leave it at that. And I do feel like this person is probably attractive with so much Wands energy as well. And I feel like this person's also very ambitious with the Magician card coming out next to the Wand. So they're probably someone that really wants to do well in their career. You might not have to worry about them kind of like resting on their laurels and being like, well, I have an okay job and it pays the bills, and yeah, I don't really care about advancing, and I could go up for that promotion, but why bother? Like, that's not their vibe. I feel like they would be like, absolutely, I'm going to go up for that promotion, and I can't wait. And I talked to my boss, and I'm going to play golf with him on Saturday. Like, they're a hustler, they are someone who takes initiative. They're not someone who just sits back and wants to like relax and be on the beach and chill. Although, of course, they may, like to take a vacation like all of us. Because again, I do feel like this person's actually pretty adventurous and likes to probably do things like travel and go places and explore, but they're not the type that just wants to sit back and nap all day and just take it easy. I feel like they are very wide-eyed, and they might even, I'm getting for some of you guys, like encourage you to kind of get out of the house sometimes if you are prone to that. If you're the kind of person who's like, well, I love to stay in bed, they might really be like, hey, let's go out to this show on Tuesday and let's go out to dinner. And you might find yourself kind of going outside of your comfort zone. If that's not someone who you are usually, you might be the kind of person who, if you are the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm kind of a homebody, maybe you'll surprise yourself, because I feel like this person is great at encouraging you. They kind of know just what to say to get kind of inside your head and to, you know, push you in a really positive way, not being like annoying about it, but just seeing the silver lining with things. I also feel like this person would probably make an amazing parent. They seem very encouraging. They seem like they would be very patient with any children you do have with them. They seem like they would be the kind of person who would, you know, love to play with the kids and is very young at heart. So they would probably not mind if like the kids are screaming or the kids want to climb on them or, you know, play hide and seek for like an hour. They might really enjoy all of that and love that kind of part of the parenting, like the fun stuff. Let's get into some additional cards. So we got the Desert Prince, Survival, False Promises, the Spiral Dancer, Circuitous Route, Perception, the Prison Wave, Self-Sabotage, Poverty Consciousness, and the Metal King, Discipline, Armor, Boundaries. So it's really interesting with these cards, because I do feel like for some of you guys, you might meet this person later in life, with the Spiral Dancer coming out, and it says Circuitous Route. So a circuitous route is something that doesn't go directly there. You know, it's something that maybe loops around and like goes this way and then that way, and then you make a left and then you make a right, and it's kind of like a winding path. And so it's not like a straight shot, like boom, 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 it happens right away. So again, this person may come in later in your life. Not saying like, oh, you'll have to wait until you're like 75, but you know, maybe you meet them in your 30s or your late 20s or your 40s or even your 50s. But it may not be that kind of like, oh, we met in high school. Now it's a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. But there may be, I do feel like there's a lot of self-growth that will happen before you actually meet this person. With these two cards leading off the reading. So it's almost like if in the past you've had a hard time maintaining relationships, you might have to learn to kind of work through some of your commitment issues or whatever, triggers, traumas, whatever, and put a lot of work into yourself. And that's when this person will come into your life. And I do feel like that corresponds with kind of this card of like, it might not happen right away. You know, some people, they're ready to get married at like 18, you know, but some people, you know, might need to go to therapy. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but, you know, I think it helps to like address, you know, your parents' relationship and generational traumas and all those things that everyone kind of has to deal with. Some people have less than others, but for some of you guys, you might be just putting some work in to yourself. Kind of, it feels like when you meet this person, you kind of have your own identity. And I feel like this person actually really likes that about you. They like the fact that you feel kind of strong and independent. You know, you feel like you've got your own thing going on and you're confident. And I also feel like if you have been commitment phobic, or if you have been someone who's been like, oh, I don't really want to date, or I'm not that interested, you might really push through that so that by the time you actually come together with this person, that you're much more open and you're much more willing and able to have a good relationship than, you know, maybe you were in the past. And by the way, just a little quick mention that if you do want to do meditations and work through some traumas, you should definitely check out the sponsor of this video, which is Aura app. And the link is down below in my description, just because that just popped into my mind of how many amazing meditations they have that can help you work through various different issues. But yeah, so check out that link if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, I do think there's some kind of like self inner work that happens before you guys come together. And I do feel like this person really is kind of patient with you if you're the kind of person that may have triggers or may have had difficult relationships in the past, or you have some kind of hurt. Like I feel like this person, because maybe they're so naturally optimistic, they're not as easily dissuaded or put off, or they're not the kind of person who's going to be like, oh, I'm done with this, you know, when you guys have your first argument. Like I feel like they're very loyal. They're kind of giving me like dog energy, not in a bad way, not like a pejorative negative way, but in a like loyal, like dogs are loyal and they're happy and they, you know, they love when their like owner comes home, and they, you know, love to go on adventures in the car. Like I feel like this person has that disposition. Maybe you guys will have a dog or something like that. I don't know why it popped into my mind. But yeah, I feel like this person, you know, it's almost like they kind of teach you how to be patient in a relationship. They kind of teach you how to really open up to, you know, love more. Like I feel like if you have been closed off in the past, or you have been kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to ever find my person, this person's patience and the way they stick to you and really stick through it really just touches your heart and means a lot to you. Let's get into some more cards. Healing. What have I just been talking about? Financial health and dreams. So this person may visit you in your dreams before you actually meet them. Healing as well, as I've been talking about. There's a lot of healing that happens, I feel, on your end, especially because I am getting the vibe for a lot of you guys that you might be the one who has to work through some stuff before you actually meet this person. And again, that might be why you're a little bit older than them. But with the healing energy that happens, I also feel like when you meet this person, they are so attracted to you. It's almost like it feels like a dream. It's almost like they're like, did I imagine this person? You may look exactly like their favorite celebrity, or they may just think that your version of beauty is like so beautiful. You know, like maybe you have like a prominent Roman nose, so to speak, with a little bump in it. And maybe, you know, this person just happens to have a thing for people with a Roman nose. And that's just like, they can't help it. It's just whenever they see someone with, you know, that type of bump in their nose, they just kind of like love the vibe. They love the bone structure. It does something. You know, people have weird quirks like that. Like you'll look at someone's exes and they all have a certain type of cheekbone, or they have a certain type of nose shape, or they all have a certain type of eye shape or whatever. And I feel like you just have whatever combination like just does it for this person. They're like, wow, they are stunning. Pile one is so beautiful. And I feel so lucky. Like I can't believe I met this person. Like I feel like the first time you meet them, they're just going to have insane butterflies. And there's all these butterflies on this card floating around this financial health. You can see all these are butterflies. So I feel like this person, after they meet you, there's like this sense, I keep hearing, don't mess it up, don't mess it up. I feel like that's something this person would tell themselves after meeting you, is like they're kind of on their best behavior, or they want to do a really good job and they want to make sure that you like them and that they impress you. So they kind of stress out about that a little bit. They're kind of like in their feelings, or just nervous about making sure that they make that good impression and that you are you know, into them. And with financial health as well, I do sense this person will be financially successful. Like I said, I think they're highly ambitious, and that has a lot to do with it. I don't think they're the kind of person who rests on their laurels or just sits back and just settles into whatever job. I feel like they're always going to be looking for like a new deal, a new business endeavor, a new partner, a new opportunity. So I do sense that there's going to be a lot of wealth from this person. So we also got overflow, the wall, dancing on one foot, and a tidy house. So we got two cards that say dancer. We got the spiral dancer and then dances on one foot. So maybe you guys might dance the first time you meet. There may be like, I'm sensing a lot of you guys might meet this person out at a party, a social event, or at even like a bar or something like that. But there may be an opportunity to dance, or to kind of stand off in the corner and talk while everyone else is dancing around you. But I feel like this person, you know, to them, you really stand out. Like it's almost like you have a spotlight above your head. So you might be not noticing them at first, and they're kind of staring at you across the room, and then, you know, someone introduces you or something. And I feel like this person almost is like, I keep seeing someone getting really nervous. And you know how like the facial expression someone gets when they're nervous, and their eyes kind of widen and they kind of maybe swallow, and they're like, or like gulp, you know, they're kind of like oh my God, what do I say? I feel like they kind of have that vibe when you first meet them. And so there's almost this immediate vibe or dynamic between you guys of like, okay, I know they really like me and you're kind of flattered. And I feel like you know right off the bat that this person is serious about you. It's almost like that relationship where you're not having to question like their feelings or their intentions. You're not kind of like, oh, I think they like me. I don't know, but they haven't texted me. You're just like, yeah, I know they really like me. Like it's very obvious from just how they look at you, how they talk to you. It's like that phrase, the eyes, they never lie. I feel like you can just tell from everything about their energy field how into you they are. And it's kind of a nice relief because again, I feel like you're by the time you meet them, again, I think you're at an age where you're just like not wanting to do the BS. You're not wanting to like wait for the call or get the text about like, "Hey, sorry I've been really busy, but do you want to hang out, and like no plans and not really serious behavior." You're just like over that. So I feel like by the time they come in, you're much kind of stricter or stronger about like either you're adding to my life or you're not, either you're into me or you're not, and they are definitely into you. And I feel like you like that. And that's one of the reasons this relationship is able to work is like, they like you and then you're liking how they behave because they like you so much. You're liking that they may be the type of person who like pulls out your chair, brings flowers. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they do stuff like that because they just feel like they are so ready to bring their best behavior. They're not going to try to mess around and play mind games or whatever. I'm seeing someone blocking someone on a dating app. So it's like maybe after this person comes in, you're just at a point where you're like, I'm not even going to be on the apps. I'm not going to try to date, or I'm not dealing with these like clowns on the dating apps. Like you just feel like you're very independent and you feel like you're very like happy in your own energy, but open. And I feel like it's a great combination because this person feels more like they're actively searching and they're putting the work in and that kind of a thing. So yeah, this person may have a good amount of money and they also may want to give you a beautiful house. You guys might have a beautiful house together. And again, a lot of emphasis on you guys having a good amount of money or this person being financially, very successful in some way. Let me get some song cards. How are they going to feel towards pile number 1? What is this one? Okay, we got 2. They both want to come out. Can't Deny My Love, Brandon Flowers. And that's perfect because again, I feel that this person, that song Brendan Flowers wrote about his wife and kind of about like traumas she had been through and how like I'm not going to let you like sabotage this relationship or something because I know some of the pain that's caused it. It's a really beautiful song and it's kind of heavy. But again, I feel like, that's what I was saying is like if you have some trauma, if you have some pain from the past, this person may really have the patience where they're like, it doesn't bother me. It's not going to scare me off. It's not going to get to me. Like, I'm okay with that. It's fine, and I just want to be with you. So I will take you and I will, overlook certain things. Of course, we do have to do work on ourselves to be the best version of ourselves so that we're not like really bringing toxic energy into a relationship. But I feel like if there's times when maybe you want to sabotage or when you're kind of like running from the intimacy or whatever, this person's going to be very patient and not just dip out at the first obstacle. Then we also got I Get a Kick Out of You, Frank Sinatra. Again, this person just really likes you. I feel like that song is such a great encapsulation of like when a man really loves a woman, kind of like, or when you love anyone and kind of like the kick you get out of them, like when they do something kind of funny and you're just so like amused by it and you think it's so charming instead of maybe someone else could do the same exact thing and you'd be like, ugh, like go away. But when you really like someone, you're just kind of obsessed with them and everything they do just puts a smile on your face. And I feel like this person really feels that way about you. Again, I'm getting a vibe that like when they first meet you, this person may be very nervous. So there may even feel like there's a little awkwardness on the first meeting because they may just kind of like mess something up, like be like, oh, hi, my name's David. And are you, are you here for work? And you're like, it's a party. Why would I be here for work? Like, but they're just so like nervous to talk to you that it's like their brain isn't really working, you know? They're not thinking fully. They're not functioning fully because they're just so like, oh gosh, this person is gorgeous. So I feel like they might kind of bungle the first. They might not be fully as charming as they really can be on their first meeting just because they're like, I gotta get this right. But I think you kind of understand what's going on, so you're not like offended by it. You're just like, oh, it's kind of cute that he's so nervous to talk to me. Let me get some more cards. One or two more cards. Okay, so we got Honey and I, Haim, and then Love Stones, Justin Timberlake. Wow, that's a perfect song to sum up the vibe, I think, when you're just so into someone that you're just, I guess, kind of like almost feeling high from the love you have for them, you know? And I really feel like this person, I can't get explained enough. Like, I just feel like they're so devoted to you. I feel like they are so just we're looking for someone exactly like you, and kind of can't believe their luck. Like, I feel like they probably after the first date would look in the mirror and like high five themselves, you know, or like tell all their friends like, bro, I met the hottest chick, she's everything I wanted. Or I call their friend up and be like, oh, I met my wife, or I met my husband, you know, just like knowing right away, and just wanting someone exactly like you, looking for someone exactly like you, and kind of, like I said, not thinking clearly. At times they might mess up and not verbalize things the best because they're so like just kind of nervous and excited and just so into you in that sense. And with Orange Trees by Marina, to me, that song is just a vibe all about being in that really happy energy, vacationing with someone, being under the sun, and just like the good life. And I feel like you guys have that together. There's a very sunny vibe around this pile. There's a very positive, happy, light-filled type of relationship. And that's why I feel like any kids you have are going to be so lucky, because they're just going to be in like a really positive vibe. They're not going to be, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of hidden secrets and tension under the surface and disconnect. It feels like both of you are super positive minded, kind of ambitious go-getters by the time you guys enter each other's lives. And maybe again, on your end, you've done some work on yourself, and on their end, they feel like they have a natural, very positive disposition, optimistic type of disposition. So I feel like a lot of you guys, because you've done the work on yourself, you're able to really give your focus to any children you have. You might have, like I said, dogs or pets, but you're really able to have this kind of mature relationship, not like a toxic or super dramatic relationship. It just feels like happy, positive vibes. And again, I feel like this person is probably a go-getter, probably ambitious, and they might be quite socially well connected, or they might have a lot of friends. They might be someone who's very outgoing and has a lot of connections. And I feel like that serves them well in the business world as well. So with their job, the fact that they're able to talk to lots of different people, get along well, the fact that they have good social skills is also going to help, you know, financially for you guys. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you. Pile one, like I mentioned earlier, please check out today's sponsor, Aura app. The link to download it is down in my bio. And they have amazing meditations and stuff that can help you, since you're going to be trying to level up to work through all this to meet this person. So if you want to get access to all their amazing meditations and resources that they have on that app, like I said, head to the link down in my bio. Thanks for watching, guys. Please give this reading a thumbs up if it did resonate with you, and leave a comment as well. Let me know if you can see yourself dating this guy, or if you're like, no, I don't think this is for me. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure to subscribe and then turn on those notifications. Hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post. And if you want to see more of my readings, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your shadow side and how you can alchemize it, how you can work through it. So that's a really great one to watch if you're doing this self-work. But as soon as you sign up, you will get access access to all my additional readings, so over 65 additional readings about every topic under the sun: love, spirituality, career, money, relationships, just everything. So if you want to sign up for that, go to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or an hour-long session with me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this red fruit, this is going to be your reading. To me, this looks like an apple, although it could also be like a pomegranate or something like that. Anyway, it looks really good. Let's get into your card. So you guys got the 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 9 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and the Ace of Swords. So I feel like your person is highly intellectual. This person is going to be someone who's really, really smart. They may have a higher level degree, like they may have a master's degree or a law degree or something like that, some kind of higher level of accreditation, I think is what you say. But someone who may have like gone to secondary school and have more than a bachelor's degree, they just feel like they know a lot about a lot of different things. I feel like this person has a lot of accumulated knowledge, especially maybe in a certain field. I could even see this person being like an artist or a writer or something like that, even like highly esteemed within their field. So they may have like a name recognition, like people may know, oh, this person always writes about, like the polar ice caps, and they're an expert. And so maybe that's like a weird experience where sometimes you're out in public with them and someone who actually knows about polar ice caps is like, oh my gosh, it's Pile 2's husband, and it might be a little bit strange. But I do feel like this person may have a tendency to get a little bit buried in their work and get very immersed in it. So sometimes it may be frustrating to you if they're working really hard on a project and they're kind of like unavailable at times, or they have some kind of thing with their career happening and they kind of are stressing out about it, because this person may be prone to a little bit of melancholy. I'm not gonna lie. We got the 10 of Swords and we got the 9 of Swords. So that can show someone who might have a tendency to stress out or have a tendency to, get in their head about something and really overthink it. So I feel like, again, that's why I'm getting kind of like artists. I could even see a tortured artist or a poet or someone like that who's maybe even makes a living from the fact that they, are very emotionally intense. Like I always think it's funny when people are like, why is Taylor Swift still talking about this ex relationship that happened 10 years ago? And it's like, because she makes money from it. Like that's her job. It's her job to get emotional about stuff. And she's a Cancer moon. But so of course she's going to be emotional about something years later. But the thing is, like, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of someone that might have to use their intellect or their memories or their emotions. And that might be a major part of their life. So this person, it may be really exciting to talk to them, be around them. I feel like they would be an excellent conversationalist in that sense, because they probably know quite a lot about a lot of different subjects. And I do feel like they have a lot of respect from the people around them. I do feel like some of them may have a little bit of a reputation or even a name, even some level of fame to a certain extent, because I feel like people have kind of heard of them and they think they're thought of as very smart. They're thought of as knowing a lot. And I feel like people are very impressed with this person. I feel like they have a reputation, and people might even be impressed when they find out you're dating them, even if they don't have a name, but they may be like just so well put together and known as intelligent in your social group that people are like, wow, you're dating Pile 2's spouse? Oh my gosh, wow, that's really cool. Like I'm always intimidated to talk to him because he's so smart. So that's really crazy. It kind of makes me nervous to even like have a talk with him because he just knows so much. I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid. I feel like a lot of people kind of have that reaction to this person. They are a little bit intimidating, and it feels like they're not the kind of person who's like warm and fuzzy and wants to absolutely talk to everyone and be besties with everyone and be outgoing and like have this huge social circle. It feels like they kind of keep to themselves, but in that way, they kind of have a little bit of a mystique. So I feel like people are curious about this person. They want to know more about them. They're showing me like Jess from Gilmore Girls. I think Jess Mariano is his name. So I feel like it's kind of that archetype of like the bad boy in the leather jacket kind of a thing, or the person who's kind of like, and he's a great example, right? Because he was always reading, he was super smart, and he wasn't the most like positive, happy-go-lucky type of person. He was kind of like a little jaded, a little unimpressed, and that's definitely the energy I'm getting from this person. But I do feel like even though they are maybe artistic or they have kind of, and I just looked at my timer by the way, and it was 444. So that's really interesting because fours represent stability in tarot, building something, and solid, being like solid. And so maybe this person has kind of that, even though they may be emotionally volatile at times, or sometimes might be like in a bad mood or upset about something, I feel like, you can kind of rely on them. You know that they're not going to be super wishy-washy and change their mind, because I don't even feel like they like that many people. So even when you meet them, there may be kind of that intimidating, like, how do I approach this person? What do I say? Because I don't feel like this person is used to talking to everyone. They might even like notice you and not approach you for a while, or watch you for a while and kind of stay in the shadows a little bit, and then decide to like break the ice with you. And they might even try to test you when you first meet them, is what I'm getting. So they might be the kind of person who's like, oh well, have you read this? And you might be like, oh, that's kind of pretentious, like, why is this person asking me if I read like Proust or something, or what my favorite book is, or what my favorite movie is? Like, okay. But I feel like this person is just very like looking for a certain type. They're looking for some kind of intelligence, or they're looking for someone who has a little bit of mystique. And I feel like it's almost like they are the type to like test and feel out a person before they get to know them. And they want to find someone very specific, and they want to find someone who they can intellectually talk to, get along with, and they can really understand. So they're not just trying to hang out with every single person. They're really very picky about who they surround themselves with. And so it feels like you kind of pass some kind of a test in their minds, and then they're really into you. But I feel like this person kind of has a little bit of a wall up at first in general with like everyone. They're not just clamoring for every stranger to hang out with. They definitely are like picky. If you're not the kind of person that they like, they're not going to try to be friends with you. But I do feel like this person is ambitious. So they definitely, with this 9 of Wands, they definitely might be a go-getter and be ambitious in their career. So don't think that just because they're maybe an intellectual that they're like, well, I don't want any money, or I don't care, I'm not competitive. I do feel like they are competitive, and I feel like they will be ambitious, trying to rise to the top of their field, whatever it may be. So if they're like an engineer, maybe they want to be the best engineer, or they want to be the best tech person. Or if they're an artist, maybe they really care about, the fact that their last art show wasn't reviewed well in the New York Times or something. And I feel like there's kind of that, like I said, mix of ambition with like higher, lofty ideals. So they're very philosophical in many ways, and they're someone who probably has a lot of strong values about certain things, but it's not going to stop them from trying to make money and trying to also make a name for themselves. And I do feel like they care about things like that. But again, talking to this person, I feel like it's actually really great. Like, you guys could talk for hours. Seeing someone sit at a sidewalk cafe and just like, you know, all the waiters are kind of clearing up around them, and they're still talking because they lost track of time, and then they're like, oh, sorry about that. But I feel like this person would be a fun person to spend, like I said, an afternoon with. They might drink, but I'm not saying they're like an alcoholic or something, but they might be that kind of person who loves to like while away the afternoon having a glass of wine at a sidewalk cafe and getting lost in conversation, or going to an art house film afterwards and being slightly tipsy. Like, I feel like they can be fun, in kind of an intellectual way. They feel to me like an urban dweller, or someone who might live in an urban situation, or just do very well in an urban situation, because again, I feel like they like to people watch. They're very intellectually active, probably like to go to museums, but as well, I feel like they just do well when I don't think they're like the type of person that wants a super rigid lifestyle where like they have to clock in at a 9 to 5 job. And I feel like they kind of like to spend the afternoon browsing in bookshops and record stores, and maybe stopping to get a drink at, the local bar or whatever. And again, I hope I'm not making them sound like an alcoholic. I just feel like it's kind of normal, behavior, what I'm describing. But, they like to have a little drink and like relax and loosen up a little. But I feel like that kind of is part of their like intellectual vibe that they give off, if that makes sense. So let's get into some more cards. So we got the Phoenix, the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, the Altar Priestess, and the Sisters of the Seasons. So with the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, again, this highly intelligent vibe. It says discernment, clear vision, details, and you can see how this guy looks. He just looks really smart, right? He looks like he's a wise old wizard and he's surrounded by books. This person may be quite a reader, and they might read a lot and have a lot of cultural references about that. So, they might have read every major like French philosopher, and it might be kind of, like I said, intimidating talking to them sometimes, because you're like, oh yeah, I've heard of him, definitely. Yeah, I read him all the time, but I feel like this person, I want to say, I just heard in my mind, gets lost in the sauce. So it's almost like sometimes they can get so focused on their career or the things they're doing or their job, because I do feel like they are ambitious, or this intellectual world that they kind of live in, that they kind of like lose track of the relationship or you. And you might get frustrated with that. Like there might be times when this person's like, I'm sorry, babe, I've just been working for a few days, I meant to text you. And you're like, excuse me, and you get annoyed with it. But I do feel like it's genuine, that this person really does care about you, and it's just something where it feels like they have these certain ambitions that really drive them, really push them to accomplish certain things. So it's kind of a balance between trying to be the best person they can, leaning very hard into these goals that they have for themselves, as well as maintaining the relationship to you. And the good thing is that I feel like this person is highly romantic. It's kind of giving me Scorpio vibes. I feel like they're not necessarily the best at expressing themselves at first, but their feelings run so deep. And it's funny, there's that phrase, still waters run deep, and it literally just dawned on me, but still water would be Scorpio, because Scorpio is a fixed sign. So it's not moving, it's fixed, it's still. So still waters run deep is so true. And I think that's so true for Scorpio. Sometimes people are like, oh, yeah, I don't think that person cares, because Scorpios can hold a lot inside. But they really probably feel things deeper than any of the other water signs. They feel things so intensely, and they tend not to move on. So again, even though at times you might be like, I wonder if he forgot about me. Like I haven't even heard from him he hasn't texted me all day. But I feel like when they do come around, maybe they bring you roses, or maybe they're like, babe, I've been planning this, or they want to, take you on vacation, or they cooked this whole meal for you. And even though it wasn't your idea of like, maybe you were like, well, you could have just taken me out to dinner, it's not that big of a deal. But I feel like this person, when they do meet up with you, like they really do go over the top, because they don't meet people they like this much every day. They're very kind of picky about who they hang out with. And yeah, I feel like this person, they might even have some traumas or have been knocked down, dragged out before, but they keep coming back. They have that. And it's funny, as I'm reading this, it dawns on me, the Phoenix is actually related to Scorpio. So more Scorpio confirmation. The Phoenix is the final like archetype of Scorpio. It starts with the scorpion, then the eagle, then the Phoenix. So I feel like they have that Scorpio vibe of kind of having a hard veneer, kind of having that like shell, and that kind of cautiousness about someone. Like you could think of, if you've ever seen a scorpion attack, like it kind of like stands back, it doesn't like initiate, and it kind of is like reading the situation. And a lot of Scorpios kind of do that when they first meet someone. They're not the most outgoing sign, they're not the friendliest, but once you know them, they'll kind of let you into their world that they let very few people into. So I feel like this person probably has a lot of natural sex appeal if they are a Scorpio or whatever sign they're in. Scorpio does rule over the sexual organs, as well as it just is a very highly sexual sign in general. But the reason why they're so sexual is because that's kind of the ultimate form of intimacy, or it was for most of human history, maybe not now. But it's all about seeing someone genuinely naked as they really are. And that's, I feel like, what this person likes. They don't like fake conversations. They don't like, small talk about the weather. They really want to get down to like the deep traumas and what really happened and what really you're feeling and genuinely like the issues in the world. And they might even spend time stressing about certain current events or future events or what's going to happen to the world. I feel like this person just, they're not a surface level person. There's a lot of depth and emotion here. So yeah, I feel that when you're around them, it's kind of like it kind of can enfold you into this whole world they live in. And you might find yourself even being influenced to like change your musical taste. They might introduce you to a lot of really cool music or introduce you to some authors or make you change your style just through osmosis, because I feel like they have this highly kind of penetrating aura around them. But not to say like your music is bad or anything, but I just feel like they honestly have really amazing taste, and it's actually really cool to kind of learn from them. So we also got confidence, fertility, and good luck. So I do feel like it's funny because the Phoenix is also making me think of kind of like inner work being done before you meet this person, or them doing inner work before they meet you. And so by the time you enter into each other's lives, I feel like it's not to say that this person is necessarily like actively looking. Like, I don't feel like they feel desperate to me. But I feel like, again, they may have had other relationships happen that kind of crashed and burned, and they're very picky and they're very selective. So I feel like both of you guys kind of have had to learn to like get knocked down and put yourself back on your feet, and there's an inner strength and growing with each other that you guys, I feel like, have and will go through over the course of this relationship. And just a little quick side note, but if you want to do some of that inner work, then you can always head to the link underneath in my description for Aura. They have amazing meditations and a lot of inner work oriented programs, so that just brought that to my mind. So they sponsored today's reading, and if you want to check that out, like I said, head to the link in my description. I love Aura, and they have so many great meditations for like improving yourself in different ways. But anyway, yeah, I think this person, it's funny because even though they might at times, I feel like, be kind of quiet, so people are like, oh, they're not really, maybe they're shy or maybe they're scared. It's like, no, they actually have a lot of confidence. They actually really do know what they're doing, and they know that they have something special to offer. I feel like they just are picky and selective about who they talk to and what they talk about. Also, with this fertility card, you guys might have kids like right away, or you might get knocked up really easily. Also, if this person has this scorpionic vibe, that is a way that a lot of Scorpios really are very intense about connecting in that way, in a sexual way, right? So that might mean a lot to this person. Physical touch may be their love language, and they may kind of just want you in the bedroom all the time, you know what I mean? And it may be something that, like, if they don't get to sleep with you for a few days, they're kind of like, feeling unloved or whatever. And so because of that, maybe that's another reason why you might, have a lot of kids, or have kids right away, right off the bat, that kind of a thing. And with this good luck card, I feel like you also might meet them, like I said, when you're not looking. So when you're just living your best life, going out to like a party or going out to eat at a restaurant or out at the bar, and you're not like trying to meet someone, or at a book signing, or a art gallery launch or something like that. But it may not be an event where you're like actually trying to date, or you're actually on online dating. It could be through online dating, but I feel like it might even be in that stage of online dating where you're like, I'm not that serious about this, whatever. Okay, I'll swipe on this person. Sure, I'll go out to coffee. But I feel like there's an instant connection. This person instantly takes interest in you, but it doesn't feel to me like it's something that you're seeking out or something that you're looking for. It does feel like when you guys first meet, it's going to feel almost accidental, or it's going to feel like it's a complete surprise and takes you both as a little bit of a shock. I feel like this person is more in an energy of like looking, but again, not actively looking. Like, they're open, they want that deep connection, but they're so picky that they're not going to settle for anything less than like that intensity. And I feel like for you, you feel like very surprised to have this connection with this person. Like, I feel like even though you're drawn to them and they're physically attractive and they kind of have that sexy vibe about them, you're also like, I don't know if I would normally date this person, or Um, or just like I was wanting to be single for a while, or I was just having fun, or this person isn't like anyone else I dated. So there's an element of surprise, there's an element of I wasn't anticipating this, but I'm really glad it happened. Let's get into some final cards. The Sky Bridge, possibility for union, Horseman, Herald of Change, deep quiet, meditation, and stillness. Oh, and I guess this forgiveness card is from that other card pull. But okay, so with the deep quiet, I feel like you and this person's probably not, like I said, super loud. They might seem a little quiet and even at times a little like unreachable. Like they might, like I was saying, kind of get into moods at times and be kind of like, why are you stressing out about this? Or like, come on, like it's, your mom's birthday party, put on a smile or something. And this person might just be like, I'm sorry, I just been stressing out about this thing, or I have this project, or I'm writing this poetry book and I'm just really overwhelmed. So they may be kind of emotional. It is kind of giving me water vibes. So they could also be a Pisces or a Cancer. But Scorpio definitely comes through really strong. But yeah, I feel like this person, the good thing about them is they're super reliable. Like you don't have to worry about them abandoning you or about them being disloyal or taking interest in someone else. I feel like because they are so picky, like that they're not going to be easily lured away by someone else. They genuinely really care for you. And it's like they're not really interested in many others. And I feel like if you needed something, or even if they were like, oh, I've been working on my project all week, what's up, babe? And you were like, I need you, I need help with something, they'd like rush over. They would go out of their way to help with whatever. So let's get into some song cards for pile number 1 or 2. Excuse me, pile 2. Pile 2. So we got Orange Trees, Marina. Okay. Got that for pile 1 too. Ape by Beyonce and Jay-Z. I don't know. I can never say the whole name of that because it's not a good word. So we'll cover it up. But I don't even know why it's in there. But Ocean Eyes, Billie Eilish, Harvest Moon, Neil Young. And let's get one final card. Romeo Chairlift. Interesting. So even though this person may not, be the type who like wants to socialize with everyone and make small talk with everyone and constantly like riz everyone up, I feel like they actually do have a good amount of charisma and know how to talk, and they can be quite charming. I feel like they kind of might even have like people who've fallen in love with them throughout their past. They might have a long history of like people who were super interested in dating them and people who really, really liked them. And they might also have really striking eyes. That's also a scorpionic trait. Having striking eyes is so Scorpio, and having that really intense look that a Scorpio has, that eagle gaze. And so when they look at you, it can feel like they're really looking into your soul because they see you so deeply. And a lot of times, like that's actually what's going on. Scorpio is a highly psychic sign. So, they're going to pick up on like those little things. They're going to pick up on those little differences in your tone, or just your different eye contact or different gestures you're making or whatever. And just even if it's not even that, even if it's not anything physical about you, they can just sense. They just know that you're upset, or they just know you're happy, and they kind of can read you like a book. Like I mentioned before, but I have a Scorpio in my life who gives the most amazing gifts, and it's actually creepy because at times you'll be like, how the F did you know to get me this? Like, this is insane. How did you know? Like I like it's baffling, it's mind-boggling, but that's really how Scorpios are, is like they're seeing so deep into you, sometimes even deeper than you might see yourself. So that's the really great thing, is like they'll be super attentive to you, they'll look after you, and they'll sometimes know and anticipate your needs before you've even realized them. So I do feel like this person, even though they might come with some melancholy and they might be someone who's in their feelings a lot, again, the way they look after you and the depth of this connection, I feel like makes it totally worth it for you. So I really hope that helped, guys. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want to check out today's sponsor, Aura, they have an amazing, amazing, amazing meditation app. They have so many different spiritual programs on that app. So you can have like guided meditations, different sounds and noises. There's lots of different kind of lessons to go through, and a lot of daily rituals. So definitely check it out. I highly recommend, and the link for that is in my description. And so let me know how this reading was for you. Let me know if you could see yourself with this type of person, or if you're like immediately, no, this would not work for me. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on, hit that little bell. And if you want to see more of my readings, then head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it. And as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings about love, spirituality, career, so many different topics. So I would love to have you join us. And if you want to sign up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well, I think. Also, if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you can ask me about pretty much whatever you want within reason. So it's your time to spend how you want. And if you would like to get that, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and I'd love to see you there. So thanks for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this watermelon, this is going to be your reading. I love all the detail on it, looks super realistic. But anyways, guys, let's get into your cards. You guys got the Magician, the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Eight of Wands. So I feel like your person is going to be a hard worker. I feel like this person is probably really smart, probably very diligent as well. Like I feel like this is the kind of person who commits to something, and when they say they're going to do it or they say they're going to be somewhere, they're going to. So I'm feeling like right away when you meet them, they make their intentions clear, and they're not the kind of person who's like wishy-washy or where you have to kind of like guess at their feelings. I feel like they're going to really be very straightforward about their intentions towards you and about how they feel. They're not going to play a ton of games with you. So that feels like a real relief. Like at least you kind of know where they stand. And they seem to me kind of predictable in general. Like they might be the kind of person who has like a very strong Saturday routine. And like every Saturday they wake up at this time, they walk to get some bagels from like the local place, and they always get the same toppings. They get like a lox spread, or they get the strawberry cream cheese or whatever. But like they have a fixed order, you know, and then maybe they come back and they read the local newspaper and they do the crossword, and then they go to the gym. But it's like a set predictable thing. Like you could time it like clockwork, and it's like the same time, the same vibe every single weekend. And I feel like this person is like that in general. Like they might have very specific tastes, or they always like to eat the same kind of a thing. But what I love about that is it feels like it's very like very much a good fit for like domestic family life, because you know family life can be kind of boring, right? Like you're doing the same things, there's no new craziness, like you've kind of settled into a routine as a couple, or if you have children as a family. And I feel like this person actually really likes that. By the time you meet them, they may literally be looking for that kind of a vibe. They may literally be looking for someone that they can kind of settle down with. I could definitely see this person like wanting to be in the suburbs, or wanting to have a little bit of like that white picket fence type vibe. Even if they move to the city, it may not be that they're living the wild and crazy lifestyle and going out at all hours. Feels like they're the kind of person that, you know, what I'm getting is like they would treat their car really well. They'd be the kind of person who would like be shining their car and, you know, spraying it down and making sure it's like really good condition. And in that sense, I feel like they would also take care of you really well. They would look after you. They would make sure that like, you know, if you're going on a trip, maybe like, hey babe, I printed out the itinerary, and I stuck your passport in the, you know, the first drawer by the door, so you can just grab it on your way out, you know. Or if they're traveling with you, maybe they're the one that like has the travel itinerary and packs the bags or carries the bags, and like, you know, kind of like airport dad vibes. Like it feels like they are just very watchful and like kind of like a good caretaker to the people in their life. Let's get into some of the astrology we can see here. First of all, we have Mercury, so that would be a Gemini or a Virgo, and then we also have the Chariot, which is Cancer. So with what's coming to my mind especially is like Virgos, because they are a really great caretaker. Virgos love to look after the people around them, and they love to give. They're like a service oriented type of energy. And also they rule the sixth house of daily routine. So it's funny, that was the first thing I mentioned, is like they have a set schedule. That's kind of a Virgo thing, because Virgo loves everything to be kind of in its place and to have it be. They don't want a ton of crazy excitement. They're not craving like wildness. They want things to be relatively predictable, and they like things to be done well. So I feel like this person, they might also just be very talented and good at a lot of different things. It might be that they, when they take over like the cooking, or they're doing the grilling at a cookout, like all the steaks are going to be seared to perfection. The hot dogs are going to just have the perfect amount of char. It feels like they would take the time to like read a cookbook before they cooked, or to read a manual, or to really know what they're doing. Again, I feel like they're also highly intelligent. We have the Queen of Swords. And one thing is, I feel like they have a really great reputation in your community. People like them. They think of them as personal, and they think of them as dependable. Like if someone had a crisis and something was going on in their family, someone had a health issue or something, I feel like this would be the kind of person who would bring over a casserole. They would want to like, they'd call them up and be like, hey, by the way, do you need something? Can I drive you somewhere? Can I bring you some food? They really feel very conscientious, and like they're a great friend and great partner. They're exactly the kind of person you would want as a friend or as being in a relationship. They also might be very clean and organized, because Virgo is all about that. And I feel like they're the kind of person who, it's bringing to my mind like those TikTok videos of people doing like home organization, or like ice restocking, or cleaning out the fridge and restocking it. Those people that will have like everything perfectly organized and lined up. I'm not saying they would be that intense about it, but I do feel like there's someone that really likes things to kind of be in their place and well taken care of. And for that reason, I could definitely see this person making a lot of money at their career and being very successful, and also being easily accepted into whatever social group. Like if they had to meet up with their boss for a dinner and were trying to impress their boss, I feel like they would do a great job at it. Their boss would love them, and they would probably be able to seal the deal or whatever they need to do. Because again, I feel like the boss would be like, wow, this person's really, I can trust them. I know I can rely on them. They don't seem crazy. They don't seem like they would take the money and run off, or, get too drunk at like a client meeting and bungle the whole thing. They are truly like a stand-up type of person. And with the Chariot as well, they probably are very strongly, like they know what they want. And the funny thing is, the Chariot, well, it's all about like directed energy, choosing what you want and moving towards it. So when this person wants something, they're probably going to be the kind of person who pursues it full force. So when they meet you, they might, like I said, make their intentions clear from the get-go. You're probably not going to have to guess, or they might not, how people will send weird texts, like they'll be like, I want to hang out with you. And it's like, what does that mean? Do you want to go on a date? Do you want to just like, what are you asking? And this person, I feel like, probably wouldn't do stuff like that, or they wouldn't play hot and cold and be like, oh, I want to hang, and then you're like, okay, when? And then they never respond. Any of that stuff. Like I feel like this person is very direct, very clear with themselves about what they want, and they would approach you in that same way. Another thing is the Chariot is ruled by Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house of family. So again, I feel like this person's very highly family oriented. They may be close with their family, or they might have two parents that were like always married and stayed married, throughout their whole life and gave them a great example. They might also even be close to siblings or whatever. Even if they had an unstable childhood, it might be something that has made them go in the total opposite direction, where they're like, oh, my parents got divorced when I was 6. It was a really messy divorce, and I really don't want that. I want, like, now I know I want stability. I know I want my life partner. I know I want one person. I know I'm not, like, they're not going to have to worry about them being tempted into having an affair because they're like, oh, I saw that with my parents, and I never want to have that happen in my life, so I'm going to be super on the straight and narrow. But whatever it is, their family may play a role in making them this way. And I feel like they are so loyal to their family that they create with you. So even if it's just the two of you, they'll be loyal. And definitely if you have children with them, they will look after the children so well. And I feel like they will be super loyal and dependable, and like show up at every recital, and, want to like play with the kids in the pool and, take them skiing in the winter or whatever. They're just a loyal, great parent. Let's get into some more cards. So we got the resting tree, patient stillness, oop, the fire prince, optimism, aggression, and then the prison waif, self-sabotage, poverty consciousness, and then the diamond dreamer, material wealth, true prosperity. So it's funny that these two came out one after the other and they're kind of contradictory. So there may be a trajectory from moving from this into this. So it could be that this person starts out with not a lot of money, or you guys meet when you guys are like young and neither one of you is rolling in the cash, and then there's a growth period together. Or maybe this person, if you're meeting later in life, started out without a lot of money and then it made them be the focused, determined person that they are. So there may have been some kind of transition from not having money into having money, or some formative life experiences and events that made this person, like I said, very focused, reliable, and determined. So I really feel like there was some kind of, I don't know, some kind of a thing that they're like, I definitely don't want to be that, and I want to be the best version of myself. I also feel like this person is highly patient. That's a really great way to describe them, because I feel like they can kind of take a lot of setbacks, or if there's like a trying day, like say you had kids and y'all are on a road trip somewhere and everyone's arguing in the back seat and fighting and screaming and like being annoying like kids are. I feel like this person would be really calm and like would be really good about handling it. And maybe they would be the type of person who like puts down discipline, but they wouldn't be like screaming or getting like mad and pulling over the car on the side of the highway and threatening to walk off or some craziness. I feel like this person would be really good at handling that and would be patient and maybe would know what to say to calm everyone down or to like change the vibe, because I do feel like this person's also naturally kind of optimistic and generally tends to be more positive, happy-go-lucky. They might even literally like really happy-go-lucky movies. They might like to watch comedies rather than heavy dramas, and they might like to watch fun sports or something instead of watching like a BBC period tragedy. I feel like they are just very like positive minded, and not someone that likes to like get super melancholic and like sit around and think about all the negative things or think about like something horrible happening in the news. It feels like they tend to very much look on the bright side and be positively focused. But I do feel like, again, this person is very ambitious. I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to accumulate a lot of wealth. And I feel like they are the kind of person that's happy to put in the work if they can see a long-term payoff, if they can see that their family is going to benefit from it, and that, this has like a lot of potential in it. They're happy to stay late at the office or to put extra work in with the boss or to spend more time with a client. They're definitely a very hard worker and very ambitious. So I wouldn't be surprised if this person is able to accumulate a lot of money throughout your life together. So we got also happiness, compassion, and lighten your load. So I feel like this person will probably do a lot for you. They'll probably definitely be the kind of person who is going to like take up chores for you. Like if you're stressed, if you've had a really long day, they might want to give you a foot rub, or they might want to give you a little massage, or be like, don't worry, babe, I got dinner tonight and I'm doing the dishes too, So I feel like they're very conscientious. They're very much have a positive attitude towards marriage, where they're like willing to put in the work. They're willing to do half or more. They're not going to be like one of those selfish partners that sits back and expects someone else to just wait on them hand and foot. I feel like they're the kind of person who's like, what can I do? How can I add value to this? How can I make this person's life easier? And they're very empathic, really willing to see your side. We see that with the Chariot ruled by Cancer as well. And this card, I didn't even process, but the Compassion card, yeah, they have a lot of natural empathy. I think there's someone that doesn't struggle to like identify with their partner. You know how sometimes people can just really have a hard time putting themselves in the other person's shoes, especially I think men versus women. Like we as women don't really understand men don't understand us, that's for sure. No, I'm just kidding. But so I think it can be hard sometimes to like see the other person's perspective, like, why are you upset about this? And they feel the same way towards us. So that can cause problems in a relationship sometimes, just because, you know, men and women are different. But I feel like this person has a really great time, like putting themselves, they do a great job of putting themselves in someone else's shoes and not kind of othering the other person and making them into like, you're crazy. Why would you ask for that? Who cares? You know, dismissive stuff that sometimes people do with their partner. I feel like they're genuinely gonna do that work to like see the other side. And like I was saying, naturally happy-go-lucky, naturally optimistic, naturally someone who wants to get along with the other person, look on the bright side, see the good, that kind of a thing. So we also got Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine, Unmarked Trail, Revelation, Winter's Dream, Gestation Period, and Dust Devil, Moving Out of Stagnation. So here we have 2 cards all about pregnancy and that relate to getting pregnant. So this person might want a big family. This person may want to have a big, what do they say, like a soccer team. Like that's the phrase, like I want a soccer team. And so I don't know how many people are on a soccer team. It sounds like a lot, but they might not want that many, but they may definitely want children, and they may want more than one or more than 2. You know, they might want like a large family with like a golden retriever as well. Of course, if you're like, oh well, I definitely don't want kids, I'm sure you could discuss it with this person, and it's a generalized reading, so take what resonates and leave anything that does not. But I do feel like this person may be the type for most of you guys who wants a lot of kids and who wants to have that big family structure and that feeling of safety and closeness that can come with like a big family, where you always have someone to talk to, always have someone to go to, and it's a lot of fun. I grew up in a big family, so I will say I think having a big family, lots of siblings, there's just a lot of chaos, but it's in a fun way. You know, it's exciting to be around, and I feel like this person really would crave that, really enjoys that, really likes that kind of like happy noise of like the kids running around and the teenagers talking on the phone in their room, and you know, that kind of cacophony that can happen with a lot of siblings and kids and whatever. So like I said, they may want that big family structure, and that may be something that's really important to them. I do want to mention, by the way, guys, that if you want to get some more tips on how to acclimatize yourself, grow yourself a little bit more, so you might be able to align with this person faster, then head to my link for Aura, the Aura app, which has incredible meditations, psychic resources, and all different kinds of spiritual tools, lessons, that kind of a thing. I highly recommend it. Just going to mention that really quickly because they sponsor today's reading. So thank you, Aura. And the link for that is underneath or down in my description right at the top. So check that out, you guys. But back to these cards, we have Unmarked Trail, Revelation, and Dust Devil, Moving Out of Stagnation. I really feel like you guys might meet this person at work. You could meet them in an office setting or at school, something like that. I also could see you meeting this person through friends. It does feel like this person probably has a lot of friends, but to a certain extent, I feel like they kind of keep their inner circle small. You know, I feel like they're kind of one of those people who's like friendly with everyone, but then also has like an inner core group of friends, and they're not going to necessarily, you know, open up completely to absolutely everyone. Like, I don't know how to describe, but they feel outgoing, but I also feel like they might have the really close core group that they just really trust everything with. And so with this person, you might even be introduced to them through mutual friends, because I feel like they're not the type that necessarily wants to meet a stranger. They kind of want to make sure that the person they're with is similar to them in many ways, has a lot of the same goals, has a similar vibe, is conscientious. They're kind of picky in that sense. So they're friendly to everyone, but I don't necessarily feel like they're genuinely open to dating everyone. They might even have some picky things that they're kind of looking for. Like they want someone who has a similar job to them, or has a similar family background, or a similar ethnic background, or something like that. And they might be someone who is picky about certain features or a certain vibe or a certain like dress style. Like I do feel like this person has specific taste, you know, and it's giving me kind of like fixed sign energy, and fixed signs are like that. Like they like what they like, and they're kind of stubborn about it. You know, they're not looking to like expand their horizons a little bit. But so you might meet this person through like very similar mutual friends, or someone that is very similar to this person, or even I could see you meeting this person at like a specific social event or a function, like at a golf game or a or like a certain party, maybe even a party that has to do with like heritage or something, you know, like a German Heritage Day or a South African Heritage Day or something, you know, something like that. Or it might be that you meet them at a work event or at a kickball league, but it's almost like I feel like this person isn't the type to be super open and necessarily like approach someone randomly at a bar. They might, but it would take a lot. I feel like generally they love to kind of like pre-vet by having mutual friends or knowing that this person is also involved in like this charity group or whatever. You know what I mean? They're kind of not, they don't feel 100% wide open to me. But again, I feel like that actually works when it comes to like dating, being with them, because they're not going to be chatting up random people they don't know. So let's get into some of these cards, some song cards. What is the song vibes for pile number 3? So we got Our Swords, Band of Horses, Love is a Losing Game, Amy Winehouse. And then we got Pang, Caroline Polachek. I Get a Kick Out of You, Frank Sinatra. And Latch, Disclosure. And let's get one final one. Never Gonna Give You Up, The Black Keys. So again, I feel like this person has that kind of fixed energy that where they like what they like, they make their mind up, they're set on that, and you're not going to be surprised that suddenly they just lose interest one day and walk out the door with this Never Gonna Give You Up song. Like it just feels like they like what they like. They're very kind of like stick to it type energy, you know. And we also got Latch. That's making me kind of think of like the social vibes. So again, like I was saying, it's hard to describe, but even though I think this person keeps their circle small, I feel like they have a lot of kind of like acquaintance friends. I feel like they probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this person does have an active social life and they're happy to kind of go out, talk to people. They're not necessarily going to let this person into their inner circle, but they might really do well, you know, out at the bars and kind of like going out to eat, and if they have to meet someone new. I feel like they have really great social skills. That's something that comes through really strongly with this person. And there might be a lesson here about you learning to like fight differently. Like I feel like this person, when it comes to fighting, they really hate it. They really dislike having like arguments and stuff like that. So if there is a vibe where at first you're kind of like, well, we need to hash this out, or I want to talk about this, or I'm mad, there might be some lesson that happens with this person, with them being like, well, I don't want to talk if we're going to shout, you know, like, or I don't want to have any kind of discussion of this. And there might be kind of a push pull with you being like, but I need to talk about this. And then being like, well, I don't want to, like, I don't want to deal with this. Or I don't fight like that. Or I think you shouldn't have said this to me. And I don't feel like that would be a bad thing. And it almost feels like there's a just learning curve of learning to understand the other person's energy. But again, I feel like this person is committed, and they are the kind of person that, you know, you don't have to worry about them just losing interest one day and walking off. But there may be a little bit of that kind of like hashing out. I think sometimes it's even just learning the other person's like argument style. Like you can argue with them, but you have to like learn like, oh, okay, I can't mention this. Or when I come to them, I'm going to like pose the question like this. I'm not gonna come in hot, or I am gonna come in hot, or I have to like dig this out of this person. It kind of isn't necessarily bad. It's just most of the time, but it's maybe just like learning how the other person works and learning to anticipate it or make those kinds of compromises, I guess. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 3, like I was mentioning, I'd love for you guys to check out that Aura app. They have some incredible meditations and lessons, spiritual tools over there, sounds on their sound machine. I seriously love the Aura app. I have absolutely loved getting to try it, and I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's an incredible spiritual resource. So if you guys want to try it, head to the link in my description for that. Also, if you guys guys resonated with this reading, please give this reading a thumbs up and let me know how it resonated for you. If you can see yourself with this kind of person, let me know. Or if you're like, no, definitely not, then also let me know. I'm really curious to hear. Also, make sure to give this reading a like, hit the thumbs up button, and make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on. Hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my readings, then head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 65 readings that you'll get access to right away as soon as you sign up. And I just posted one all about your shadow side and how to alchemize it. So great for that self-growth. But there are readings about love, spirituality, career, money, every different topic under the sun. So if you want to see that, like I said, head to my Patreon. The link is underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to really choose what we talk about, what you ask about, within reason, of course, but pretty much everything is allowed, the vast majority of topics. So yeah, it's your time to use how you want. You can have me tune into whatever questions you would like. So if you want that, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this orange, this is going to be your reading. It looks really good, but let's get into your tarot. So you guys got the Ace of Wands, the High Priestess, the Death card, the Page of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. So right off the bat, as I was just shuffling the cards before any of them came out, I was picking up on that this person has a very psychic energy, and they are probably psychic. They might be spiritually inclined themselves, and they may have a kind of mystical or otherworldly quality. So when you first meet them, there may be a vibe about them that seems kind of intimidating, or seems like they're not fully present. Like they may seem like here, but also kind of on the astral realm, here, but lost in the clouds a little bit, head in the clouds. So you might be very intrigued by them and intimidated. And when you finally get to talk to them, there may be a really interesting conversation that happens, because I feel like this person wouldn't want to talk about just the mundane details of life. They probably want to really get deep and really get in there and, you know, learn about like your traumas, or learn about your family structure, and learn about your hopes, dreams, goals. There's a lot of intensity and emotional intensity here. We actually have two of these cards, both ruled by different water elements. We have the High Priestess ruled by Cancer, and the Death card ruled by Scorpio. So heavy water going on. Water signs tend to be very emotional, tends to be very emotionally intense. When they love someone, they really love them, and they'll love them probably forever. It's a very spiritual type of energy. They're also highly psychic and tend to have a lot of spiritual interest. And that's the great thing about it, is sometimes they can really anticipate your needs even before you're feeling them. They might get a premonition that like, this person's shady, and tell you to stay away from that friend, and then that person ends up showing their true colors later, and this person predicted it. Or they might end up just knowing that you're going to get hungry, even though it doesn't seem like you would, and there's going to be food there, and then they ended up packing protein bars in their purse or their bag or their pockets, and then you're like, oh my god, I can't believe there was no food at this party, and then they whip out a protein bar. So they might be really good about anticipating your needs, and this to them might be a very intense connection that they feel very strongly about. So when you first meet them and when you're first getting to know them, you might be really blown away by their emotional intensity and the fact that they really care. You might be blown away by the fact that they want to kind of really look after you, take care of you, and it doesn't feel like it's just another hookup to them, that they're very emotionally present with you. However, they're also going to be strongly attracted to you. They also might be very attractive themselves with this Ace of Wands coming out. So with the Ace of Wands, you're talking about a very sexually powerful type of energy, very potent. This person, if they have a lot of Scorpio can often give off a highly sexually charged vibe and have that kind of sexual mystique, since it does rule over the sexual organs. But with the Ace of Wands, that's probably something you can pick up on from them, is like, this person would be really good in bed, or this person's just super attracted to me and I can feel that intensity, or they just are very attractive themselves. So they might just have that kind of vibe about them that's kind of mysterious and kind of elusive, and kind of that very watery like emotion that can be very seductive and attractive. But with the Ten of Cups, they also might be someone who can be a little bit of a softie when you get to know them. So they might be the kind of person that really wants to like curl up on the couch with you on Sundays and watch movies together, or, you know, gets really emotional and like cries during the wedding, or, you know, goes all out for your birthday because they care so much about you. So like I said, they're a little bit of a softie. Even if they're a Scorpio, they might have this hidden side to them. I will say that, like, I have a Scorpio in my life, and I always mention how they give the best gifts. It's insane. It's stuff you would never be able to predict. You're like, how did you, I didn't even know I wanted this myself. And this, such a Scorpio thing to do stuff like that, not even tell you they're going to give you a gift, or be like, oh, whatever, I bought you this, and then you open it and you're like, this is the best gift in my life. So don't be, you know, shocked, even though this person might have that scorpionic tough exterior, that on the inside they are soft. And we have Cancer, which is the crab, Scorpio, which is the scorpion here. So both of them show that hard shell and then a soft inside. So yeah, they are very loyal. They care a lot about their family. They care a lot about their relationships. And I do feel like they'd be the kind of person who would go above and beyond to do something to make you happy. And they have a strong romantic side. So they might be the kind of person who will bring you 12 dozen long-stemmed roses, or 12 dozen is a lot, right? A dozen. That might be like your house is covered in roses, but maybe you want that. Or they might, you know, take you out to a really romantic dinner. I feel like they have a really strong romantic side. The downside to this, maybe sometimes they might be kind of like that water lethargy, like not super high energy. They might be the kind of person who's not like, hey, let's run a marathon and let's wake up at 7 a.m. and I can't wait to, like, you know, I can't wait to uh, wake up with the dawn and start the day and chug some coffee and let's go. They might not have that vibe. You know, water sign is nocturnal. So we have Scorpio here, which is nocturnal Mars. And then we also have obviously the moon, Cancer, which is obviously a night energy. And so they might literally be a night owl, or they might be someone who just isn't all about that kind of like bright and sunny, energetic vibe. And they may be sometimes a little bit low energy, or you might be like, hey, do you want to go out and go to the mall and let's go shopping? And they're like, not really. I just want to stay at home. I just want to, like, let's watch Netflix together, or let's cook together. And sometimes it may even be a little bit of an issue where you might have to like drag them out to go to the local restaurant because they're like, I'll just cook for you, babe. Like, I don't want to, you know? So that's the only thing that may sometimes get annoying to you, depending on whether you like that and you're a homebody yourself, or you like to be, you know, up and at 'em, kind of more. So whatever your preference is. This person may also have a lot of artistic interests. So they may be someone that like writes as a hobby or even as a career, or is into photography. They might take some really amazing pictures of you, or has some kind of creative hobby as a gift. I also feel like I just got the vibe that this person is very protective of you. So I feel that if you were like physically threatened by someone somehow, this person would definitely be willing to throw down in a fight, or if someone was being really rude to you, they might tell them off. You know, a lot of people think water is just a super like chill energy, and it's really not. If you think of the most destructive element, it's probably water. You know, tsunamis are like the probably worst thing on the scale of natural disasters. And water, Mars are so overrepresented in like fighting sports. It's crazy. I think like so many world champions in boxing are Pisces Mars. So don't think that just because a water sign is, you know, seems all sweet and nice, that they can't throw it down. They definitely can. And I feel like this person, if they feel, especially if their emotions towards you get like upset, like if they are feeling like someone's being nasty to you, they might go into all all-out war, and you might have to be like, no, don't fight this guy at the store, or like, it's okay, like, I don't care that my coworker's being catty to me, but I feel like that means a lot to you. Like I said, they're willing to throw down, they really care, and they're willing to do a lot to kind of make you happy. Let's get in, and this person as well, let me not glaze over the Page of Pentacles. They might be like an entrepreneur. They might be someone who runs their own business or doesn't have a traditional 9 to 5. They might own their own company or work in like a non-traditional field. So they might be, yeah, some kind of entrepreneur or business owner in like something unconventional. Maybe they own like golf courses or something, and you're like, what, how do you make money from this? Or maybe they have a pottery business, or they design furniture or something, and you're kind of like, wow, that's a little different. But I definitely feel like this person might do better working for themselves, because they just feel like they are kind of a little bit of a renegade. I wouldn't be surprised too if this person has a really cool sense of style and dresses a little bit differently, or dresses in like an unconventional way, in the sense that like they're not just going to put on khakis and whatever random t-shirt just to fit in with everyone else. It does feel like they probably have a cool design style or a fashion sense, or they're into, different aesthetics that may be kind of interesting. And they probably have an excellent taste in music as well. Let's get into some of these other cards. Oh my gosh, Sacred Union leading off the deck. We love to see it. And then we got the Word Lord, the Lady of the Mirror, Reflection, Non-Judgment, and the Chess Queen, Trust, Strategizing. So highly intelligent cards coming through. We have the Word Lord and then the Chess Queen. This person is very smart, and I feel like their conversations would be really amazing. And not just smart in like a book smart way of like being able to spout off like the table of elements or math facts or something like that, or like random historical data. I feel like they're intelligent in a very deep way. Like they really look deeply into things. They philosophize a lot. They think deeply. They're very much someone who's spiritually curious, and likes to look underneath the surface. And so they're very perceptive. I feel like they would notice a lot. Like, again, there might be someone in your social circle that this person is just like, just stay away from them. Just don't talk to them. And you're like, oh my God, you're overreacting. Like, I feel like me being a Pisces, I always have that disconnect with Scorpios where they'll be like, yeah, they're shady in this way. And I'm like, no, well, yeah, I mean, I noticed that too. And it is weird, but I'm sure they don't mean it. And then the Scorpios are always so harsh, and then they always turn out to be right. I'm always like, give them the benefit of the doubt. They didn't mean it. And then they did mean it, and the Scorpios clock that stuff right off the bat, and they don't second guess themselves. So you might have experiences like that with this person where they are very good at like reading, assessing situations, being able to anticipate certain things, and it may be something you start doing yourself after being around them. Like I feel like this person looks really deeply, and even no matter what the situation is, I feel like they would philosophize about it. They would take a very intellectual type of interest in things. They're not just going to look at like things on a surface level. They're really going to dig deep, go above and beyond. They want to like understand and learn situations much more than the average person. But the good thing about it is we have this reflection non-judgment card. So even though I feel like they might judge others, or they're very intense about assessing situations, I do feel like with you, it's almost like you can really open up and tell them anything, and they're always going to assume the best about you. They're always going to look on the good side with you. As far as how you might meet this person, you might meet them. I'm seeing in my mind like a dimly lit bar. I feel like this person would hang out in like really cool spaces. So I don't feel like they would be hanging out in like the local Applebee's. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry that I always like am attacking Applebee's in my readings. I don't mean to, but just the vibe, you know what I mean? I feel like they wouldn't be hanging out in like the Olive Garden or something. I feel like they would be hanging out in like some cool like pool hall, or like this speakeasy or something that like not a lot of people know about, or you have to like know someone to get the code for the door, or maybe like a really like interesting gallery show for an artist, or like a lecture from a famous writer or something like that. I do feel like they are, they're a cool person, and I could really see them doing well in like a city or urban setting, although they don't necessarily have to live in those places. I could even see, this is weird, but for some of you guys, I could see you meeting this person on like a social media platform, like Twitter or something like that. Like if you have a Twitter account, them like liking discourse you have around I don't know, communism or something, and then being like, wow, this person's super smart, let me slide in the DMs, and like it being like an intellectual connection, or finding you on Instagram or something like that. But I don't feel like this person necessarily is easy to kind of, I wouldn't be surprised too if they're like a night owl, you know? Like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't wake up before like 11 a.m. because we have a lot of this night energy. Water is a nocturnal sign. But I wouldn't be surprised if they yeah, like are a straight up night owl and don't like to be out in the middle of the day or something like that. But I do feel like, yeah, they have a cool sense of style and they're kind of intimidating, and you'd be probably intrigued with them when you first meet them. And again, I feel like they would get really deep really quick. Like they wouldn't want to just talk about small talk about the weather or about, um, like, oh, I like your hat kind of conversation. They would want to talk about like, so what do you think? Do you think capitalism or communism is the best like governmental structure? Or what do you think about like this historical event? Or what's your favorite band and what does it mean to you? Like they really want to go deep. That's such a Scorpio thing as well. And I think a water sign thing in general is like really wanting to get to the core of someone who someone is, and kind of not really being interested because they can see in the small things, because they can see so much deeper into a person. So it's like, why aren't we talking about the fact that you have childhood trauma when you're when it's so obvious to me? You know what I mean? Which can be very jarring when you're on the receiving end of it and you're like, excuse me, I did not want to talk about the fact that my dad, I don't know, like left my mom when I was 3 and I have abandonment issues or something, like it's like this, I just met you, sir. But I do feel like they're that way when they're really intrigued with someone. And with the sacred union, they're going to feel really deep. I mean, this is such a powerful card about a deep, deep, deep love connection. So just know that their feelings for you are going to be really intense. And your love story might be one for the ages, a really beautiful love story that people are, oh my God, I swear to God, I did not know this. I know this comes off like I'm like timing it and I was like, are inspired by it. But I literally was just about to pull that card. And as I'm about to say like inspired by or like think it's really cool, that card comes out. So yeah, I feel like you guys are an inspiration to others, and people really, kind of love to see you guys together because they can feel the potency of that love. They can feel how much you guys care about each other and that it's genuine and that it's real, because a lot of people just settle for a partner, or they're like, well, I want to get married, whatever, this person will work. And there's some genuine trust, genuine connection. It's a genuine spiritual vibe. And I don't feel like this person would settle for anything less. Look, we got the spirit guide card as we talk about how psychic this person is. I love that this came out right underneath the high priestess, because again, this person has a very spiritual side. They might even be into spiritual things like yoga or tarot or astrology, or even if they're like not fully aware of it, they might have a natural gift for those things, or a natural psychic ability, and be able to read people and able to read emotions. Sometimes like a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer will be like, oh, I'm not into, most of the time they don't say this, but sometimes they'll be like, oh, I'm not into anything spiritual. But then they'll be like, I can tell that person is blah, blah, blah. And I can tell that person's cheating on his girlfriend. I can just tell. You're like, you're doing spiritual work, whether you know it or not. So I feel like this person, again, the ability to read others, the spiritual vibes they give off, it's just very heavy and intense. And by the way, speaking of spiritual vibes, you guys need to check out the Aura app. The link is in my description. They sponsor today's reading, but they have the most amazing meditations, guided lessons, sounds for like meditating. I really cannot recommend them enough. It's an all-around wellness app, and there's so much spiritual material on there. So I really hope you guys will check that out, and thanks to them for sponsoring today's reading. Just had to mention it because seriously, if you're trying to align with this kind of spiritual person, you probably want to be on your meditation game. I'm sure this person is. Let's get into some more cards. So we got overflow, overwhelm, and plenty, dragon's horde, protecting the future, winter's dream, gestation period, and lost in space, meeting direction. So sometimes this person can be kind of spacey. This is one of the downsides of like a spiritual person, is kind of this vibe of sometimes they don't feel fully present, or it's like a Pisces Mercury's debilitated in Pisces, because you can be like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? Because it can be someone who's very head in the clouds and kind of like they're saying something and you know there's some truth in there, but you're like, you need to describe it in words, because Pisces is kind of vibes, it's kind of energy, it's kind of a feeling. It's not really like a set like math formula. You know what I mean? And that's why it opposes Virgo. So sometimes you can be like, I need you to come back to earth. I need you to come back to reality. And I know you're like lost in your head and you're dreaming of things and you're having this beautiful experience, but like we're at dinner and I'm trying to talk to you, you know? So that can be one of the only downsides, I guess, with dealing with someone like this. And depending on whether you like this vibe or not, I mean, you could be annoyed by other things by this person. But that's what comes to my mind as like a downside. But we also have Dragon Sword protecting the future and overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. So this person actually might be very financially successful. And I always mention it because it's such an interesting astrological fact. But Pisces is the sign with like the most billionaires year after year. So there's something to be said for, even though people don't expect this type of spiritual energy to be super financially successful, we kind of associate that with like go-getters. There is something to be said for sometimes following your intuition and letting it guide you. And maybe this person, even though they're working in an unconventional job, or they might not be the kind of person who's just like, yep, I'm doing hedge funds and I do investment banking. And they might be someone who's very creative, or because I think like Steve Jobs is a Pisces, you know, and that's a perfect example because he used to really harp on the design style of like Apple products, and people would be like, why are you freaking out? Like, it's just a computer. It doesn't have to. And he was obsessed with like design, and that's such a Pisces thing, is like it has to be perfect. It has to be inspired. It can't just be like just a money grab. And so anyway, that kind of changed the game, right? And changed how phones look and computers look and whatever, and made Apple what it is. So yeah, there's something to be said for kind of being a little bit of a creative genius, even if it doesn't seem as predictably successful as like a Capricorn energy or something, where they're just going to work hard and be diligent. So maybe you should let this person follow their kind of flights of fancy and let them like drift around and find what fits for them, because they might end up being quite successful at the end. But I do feel like in the early stages of dating with this person, again, they're very charming, and I feel like you're kind of swept away by the thing about water. Is it can really literally sweep you away, because water sweeps you away, right, with the current, to like a magical world, a magical dimension, something kind of otherworldly, something kind of not human and more spiritual, something that's a lot deeper, and something that's kind of feels fairy-like, or feels kind of other dimensional, you know? And so you might be really like enjoying when you first start talking to them. You might be like, wow, like they're into like this certain musical band, and so we went to the show and it was just such a cool vibe. It felt like I was in a movie, you know, or they recommended this book and I read it and it blew my mind, and we have this spiritual thing. Even sex with them might be kind of spiritual or other dimensional. It might be beyond just like a physical connection. So I feel like you're gonna really enjoy the early beginning stages of dating with this person. It's gonna feel a little bit like you were plopped out and put into a movie, or you know, put into a book or something, or put into like a really cool Instagram reel or something. I don't know, you know, where it's just like, is this my life? This is so cool. This person just feels so exciting to get to know them. Let's get into some song cards as well to end this reading on. So Spirit, we want song cards for pile number 4. One Track Mind, Chromeo. Okay. So again, I feel like the sex is going to be amazing, to be honest, because when One Track Mind by Chromeo is all about being like obsessed with someone. And then we just got Instant Crush by Daft Punk and Julian Casablancas. So, you know, that is like knowing right away. And that's such a water sign thing too, because when someone's psychic, you know, they don't need to like get to know someone. They're like, yes, no, you know, and they're instant and they'll know right away. So this person might come on strong. They might be a little cagey around you, because generally water doesn't directly like attack someone like right off the bat. They're gonna kind of flow around and bring you into their current, kind of like, I know this sounds bad, but if you were like drowning or being sucked away in a riptide, it wouldn't feel like you're just like a fireball or something exploding on you, but it would be like, oh, this is nice, this is lovely, and then next thing you're in like a whirlpool. So they might kind of like play it cool at first, but they might know right away that they're into you, and that they have those feelings. We got right through me. Again, I feel like this person can see through you and see through everyone. They are such a great reader of people. And I can't emphasize enough, as someone who has a lot of Scorpios in my life, how lovely that is when they just know things. They just know you're in a bad mood. They just know that they need to like get you a gift, or make you dinner that night, or they just know that you're really happy about something and that you would love if they got tickets to your favorite concert, even though you never told them, or not even your favorite concert, just a random one, but they know it's going to put a smile on your face. They just know stuff. So it's like, it's so nice to be in that relationship where you don't have to like explain everything and be like, babe, I want you to celebrate my birthday, because like no one wants to have to walk through someone through that. So this person really can anticipate your needs and understand you, I think. And then we also have Silver Springs. So again, the depth of that connection in Silver Springs and the fact that, it's such an emotionally intense song. I feel like you guys, we got the Sacred Union card as well. This is going to be a very strong feeling. This is going to be a connection that's not just like a regular marriage where it's like, yeah, I mean, they're my husband and yeah, I mean, he pays the bills and it's good. I mean, whatever. We met when we were young and I wanted to get married, so it's fine. It's going to be something where there's genuine emotion, genuine love, genuine care, and a lot of heavy feelings and a lot of deep spiritual connections. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile number 4, like I was saying, check out the Aura app. They have so many amazing meditations, lessons, different noises. Like they have all these crazy noises you can listen to while you're meditating, and it's so helpful. I love when they have like sound selections that you can put on in the background while you're meditating or going to sleep. So not just like the usual like rain noises, but when they have like deep rainforest and like train tracks and all these intense other sounds, and they have so many on that app. There's so many cool things to check out. So if you guys want to give it a shot, head to the link in my description for the Aura app. And thanks to them for sponsoring this reading. But I hope it resonated, guys. Let me know if it did in the comments. If you could see yourself with this kind of person and you're like, heck yeah, I love this energy. Or if you're like, no, this is not for me, let me know. I'm always curious to hear. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up. Hit the like button if it did resonate with you. And make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you guys want to see more of my content, then head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted one all about your shadow side and how you can alchemize it. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings about so many different topics. There's readings about love, spirituality, career, money, so many different topics to choose from. So if you want to join us over there, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half-hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you can ask me about pretty much whatever. I mean, it's your time to use how you choose, so most topics are completely allowed. So if you want to get that, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.